Good morning. Thank you all for staying after the service. I know many of you know that I am taking courses at Phillips Theological Seminary. This semester I'm taking a course on preaching, and so I'm going to be giving a message, something totally different from what I've done in the past. I'm going to be using it without any notes or without any manuscript. You know, I'm a manuscript person, but Reverend Dr. Bill Britton has asked that we do this. So good luck. I'm going to need your prayers. Hope everything goes well. So here we go. As many of you know, I sometimes do services at the funeral home that I own for a number of years. And in the month of December, right before Christmas, I had the unfortunate pleasure of doing a funeral for a serviceman who was in the Navy, who had given 15 years of service and who committed suicide. Screaming in silence, yet no one could hear. Christmas Day, found out that a mom of 2 children had taken her life. Screaming in silence. Why can't anyone hear? And as you all know, a couple of weeks ago, sophomore at Chilhowie High School took his life. Screaming in silence. Why can't we hear? So, the scripture I want to share with you this morning is found in the Message Bible. As you all know, each Sunday I try to find scriptures, and I always go through which version would be the best. And to me, this just spoke to me. The 88th chapter of Psalm. This says, I had my fill of trouble. I'm camped on the edge of hell. I've written off as a lost cause. One more statistic, a hopeless case. Abandoned is already dead. One more body in a stack of corpses, and not so much as a gravestone. I'm a black hole in oblivion. Despair, it's not new. Sometimes we feel abandoned. Sometimes we're told that we're a lost cause. Screaming in silence, but what can we do? Suicide is a growing issue. I would venture to say that every one of you knows someone whose family has been affected by that. According to the CDC figures, I think they're 2020, I believe, there are about 46,000 deaths by suicide. The leading cause of death from age 10 to 14 and 25 to 34. 12 million people seriously thought about suicide. 3.2 million actually, I think, made a plan, and 1.2 million attempted to take their life. Everyone knows somebody who's screaming in silence. We need to listen closer. We need to see more clearly. Everyone needs help. We need to be a friend. This is something that's near and dear to my heart. We need to hear those screams. We need to be better friends. So the question is, how can we be a better friend? When we hear the screams, what should we do? Mayo Clinic suggests that we recognize the warning signs. People talking about suicide, maybe going so far as to go out and buy a gun or to stockpile their pills. Maybe they withdraw from their friends, or they feeling trapped or hopeless. Maybe they give away their belongings. It's so hard to know. But we need to listen. And we need to hear the screams. And we need to see clear the danger signs. We need to be a better friend. Erica in our Bible study puts it this way. She says, in times of trouble, she said, I always lean in, not out. So we need to learn how to lean in, not out. You know, there's several kinds of friends. You know, I'm sure you all have them. Those that come to you at times just when they want something. It's kind of like, I guess you'd call it a faucet, I don't know. Could turn them on and off in a moment's notice. Or someone that pretends to be your friend and really they're not. And then, of course, social media, all you got to do is be friended, and that's really not what I would call a friend. Now, the friends that I'm talking about, the friends that are truly friends, are friends like my daughter Mary. You all know that she passed away. And we built a playground in her honor. And on that day that we built the playground, we had to get one of the people in charge that brought the playground to come help us. Pouring down rain. It was the only day that he was available. 30 people stood with me and Deb all day long as that playground was put up. 30 people that thought it was important to come and to be our friends. And then my buddy Gary, he's my fishing buddy. Now, he's not afraid to tell me when I kind of venture off the path that, you know, you talk about fishing. Now let's talk about that, because we do a lot of fishing. We don't do much catching. But I think the important thing is the fishing. And then Dan and Charlie, we've been praying every Monday morning for months and years. And we get together and we pray for other folks. And they truly are friends. And then Dr. Ken's always there. I had some heart issues and I had some cancer. And guess who was always there? He was there. That's the kind of friends I'm talking about. Little League World Series. I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was last year. I was watching the Little League World Series, and there was a fellow up at bat, and the pitcher hit the batter. And the batter went to the ground. I mean, he fell to the ground. And then they all came rushing out and found out that he was okay. And they came and they picked him up. And then, guess what happened? Instead of just going to first base, he saw how upset that the pitcher was. And so he went out and he embraced that pitcher. Leaning in, not out. We all need friends. Proverbs, and this is in the NIV Bible. Proverbs 17 tells us, tells us, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. So, what kind of friend are you? Can I call you day or night? Are you the kind of friend that if you get a phone call, is it an opportunity or is it an interruption? David Fenwick, wife of 44 years, she dies. He just goes into hiding. His best friend Tony kept asking him to come out and eat with him. And he just refuses and refuses and refuses. Yet, the amazing thing is that 6 years later, he's asked every week to go eat with them. And finally he gives in, and they go out and eat. They call themselves Romeo, retired old men eating out. Now, isn't that a great story? So in this case, I think persistence is the key. I think sometimes we think we ought to mind our own business, that we should just give up after a while, but no, we need to lean in, not out. We need to reach in over and over and over. So, how can you help? Where do you start? You need to maybe find something that someone would enjoy and encourage them to do it. Again, back to Proverbs, the 17th chapter, this time the 22nd verse. A cheerful heart is good medicine. Those things in our body, I think they're called endorphins. You know, they release when there's things that we enjoy. Lean in instead of out. So what do? How do we recognize and what do we know when someone's in crisis? First of all, try not to leave them alone. Try to find out if maybe they're under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Maybe talk to a family member or friend. Maybe even encourage them to get help, to call a hotline. You know, the hotline number is 988. Encourage people to seek treatment. You know, in this world today, we take care of people that have cancer. We take care of people that do this, but we just don't seem to want to take care of people that have mental issues or are struggling, depressed. We need to be a friend. We need to be a friend that they need, not a friend that we are or not a friend that we want, but we need to be their friend. Lean in, not out. Lean in to help others. I believe that you're going to be more blessed for doing that as well. Deb and I, we like to travel, and years ago we were on a cruise ship out in the Caribbean. First day was pretty good. Second day got a little bit rougher. Third day, worse than that. Started out with 12 of us at a table. And that was the time when you dressed up. You put on your shirt and tie and your jacket. Deb dressed up, and we'd all go to eat together. And as the week went along, we ended up bouncing off the walls. I mean, literally, we kept bouncing off the walls, getting from our room to the main dining room. But you know what happened? There were 12 of us, and by the time, about the fifth day, Deb and I were the only ones there. So, when your life feels out of control, when your emotions go up and down, when you have no stability and you're physically sick, Hebrews 6:19 puts it this way. We have this hope as an anchor for our lives, both sure and firm. The Message Bible puts it this way. We who have run for our very lives to God have every reason to grab the promised hope with both hands and never let go. Wow. Do you think we can do that? I know that many of us know people that are struggling. They're hurting. They're screaming for help. But often we just fail to hear them. We fail to not do what we need to do. As you all know, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, and go Chiefs, we're all for that. But do you remember the Chiefs-Bengals game? Towards the end, where Mahomes ran, even with his bad ankle, to get a first down. And just as he got to the sideline, Osiah tackled him. Got a 15-yard penalty. We were able to kick a field goal. Kansas City won the game. But what I want to talk about was Osiah. You know, he played one heck of a game. He's a great ball player. And he put some hurt on the Chiefs. But after that game was over, if you noticed, he was over there sitting alone. Fans were mad at him. They all left. Teammates left him to go to the locker room. Here he sits all by himself. Coaches left him. Here he is, sitting in silence, for thousands of people at the stadium and probably millions of people that were watching on TV. And yet he felt like that he was the only one around. And there's come to find out there was only one that you saw came back to befriend him. So what can we do? What can we as Christians do? I think what I'd like for you to do is this week, I'd like for you to reach out to someone who's hurting. Lean in, not lie out. Be the hands and feet of Jesus. What would Jesus do? I think you'll be amazed that by doing the right thing, you're going to be blessed as well. So I can't wait to hear your stories next week of leaning in, not out. And I hope when you hear the screams that you'll reach out rather than turn away. Also remember, very easy number, 988, that's the suicide hotline. If you know someone that needs help immediately, please don't hesitate. If you see someone that's doing those things we talked about earlier, please get them help.